Hello everyone, and welcome back to another one of our video game tier lists. In this video, I'm going to be ranking the demons of Doom Eternal based on their thickness, or in other words, how dummy thick they are. The ranks of today's contenders will focus on the size of their bodies, muscles, and most important of all, ass cheeks. So, without any further ado, let's jump right in. First on our list are the zombie soldiers. Looking at their overall shape, they're decently thick demons with their mutilated muscles, but we all know it's what's behind that counts. And looking back, I'm happy to say that they still show themselves to be of average thickness. While not the thickest of demons, they sure do have a solid start at our list, placing themselves at C tier. Our next contestant is the Imp. And looking at its thickness, this is just disappointing. Maybe some credit is due for its visible musculature, but as far as I'm concerned, this baddie's bony posterior is quite inferior. E tier. The Gargoyle is next, and again, just like our poor friend the Imp, there isn't enough mass to give it a pass for its ass. E tier. Up next is the most definitely thick Hell Knight. Just look at those rippling pectorals, those beefy biceps, and those steel solid buns. These guys have true dedication for their thickness. I'm granting the Hell Knight an A tier rank. The Cacodemon is an interesting demon to have on this list since, although it has no derriere, it is almost completely spherical, the thickest shape one can be. I can't push myself to give it a higher rank because of its sure letdown of a rump, yet I also can't push myself to give it a very low rank due to its globular shape. This may be controversial, but I'm putting it at D tier. Coming up on our list is the Pinky. Looks absolutely thick all around, but what kind of junk does it have in its trunk? Ooh, a much weaker backside than its thick front side. I'm giving the Pinky a fair C tier, for although this rear is pathetic compared to the front, it still has some decent thickness to it. I'll bring up the Spectre next, since it's pretty much a transparent Pinky. While it is near invisible, you can tell that it has the same body shape as the Pinky, so I'm plopping it right onto C tier. The Zombie is next, and if you thought the Imp and Gargoyle were disappointing, get ready for these guys. While those others had the excuse of slightly thick muscles to get them to E tier, the zombies have almost nothing. Scrawny, weak, and flat asses all around. I'm putting it in the list's first F tier. For the Prowler, I was going to place it alongside its cousin, the Imp, but looking at it, it has a fair greater amount of thickness all around. D tier. Going forward, our next demon is the Cubo, and damn boy, he thick. That gut and butt combination add together to create a wonderfully thick enemy. Those normal zombies should take some notes. B tier. The Dread Knight comes up next, and seeing as he's a cybernetically modified Hell Knight, you know that for sure that his thickness matches up well with his brothers. That puts him at a proud A tier. The Carcass is a difficult ranking to decide on because look at him. He's clearly chunky and thick, but his technological implants hinder him. That poor caboose has been chopped clean off. For the benefit of the doubt, I'd imagine he was dummy thick before those mean old cultist technicians lopped off his bottom half. We'll never know, so I'm giving him a generous B tier. The Lost Soul is next. This is just a floating skull. No nates, not great. F tier. Upcoming is the Arachnotron. This guy is all brain, no booty. Sure, I'll give it to him that he works out at the library and has a thickness of the head, but smarts do not equal seat. Sorry, my cyborg friend, you're going to E tier. Our next runner-up is the Pain Elemental. Again, like the Cacodemon, his meatball-like shape gives him some credit to the thick ranking, but it just doesn't compensate for his fanny deficiency. I'm moving it to D tier. The Mancubus. Good lord, this demonic tank is not just thick. He's painfully thick. He's so thick that he's got flabs on his flabs, 6 nipples, and hams worth their weight in thickness. Smack that keister champion right up in S tier. I might as well put the Cyber Mancubus up in S tier too, seeing as it's practically the same thing. The only difference is the additional armor, adding extra thickness. Look, I understand the Revenant is a fan favorite demon. Hell, it's one of my favorites. But we can't just ignorantly gloss over the shame of a hiney that this meme famous demon has. There are just bones. I know he can't help it. He's a skeleton. But no ass is no ass. Not to mention his only thick aspect is his jetpack. Calling augmentations thick doesn't count. Not on this ranking. F tier. Mecha zombies fail in similar aspects to normal zombies. Their bodies and the hunkers attached just don't have much going for them. However, there is a little boost in their bums this time around. I'll place them in D tier. Now the Gladiator is an exceedingly muscular boy. He for sure gets a high tier for his overall hefty and thick build, and although his muscular haunches hold up, I wouldn't call them the best. Still, I'll gladly gift this warrior with B tier. Uh-oh, what's that warning? I know that alarm. It means we're having a special guest demon come in for our ranking. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome the Spider Mastermind from Doom 2016. Now looking at her appearance, she looks very similar to the Arachnotron. Now this is true, and I should rank her in a similar position to the latter demon. But her brain-like body is so giant and abnormally thick that it almost mimics a thick set of cheeks. This is a rare instance where I'm giving a demon a pass. Miss Arania Imperatix, you get B tier. The Archvile is our next player. Damn. I was expecting better from a high demon lord. I suppose the Archvile has muscular thick elements to his figure, but that feeble breech of his is not doing him any favors. I'll be fair, D tier. Following up next on our list is the Whiplash. We're in a similar boat as we were the Carcass, in that cultists alter this demon to be cybernetic. In the case of the Whiplash, however, I think it's safe to say that she had a body like the robotic form she has now. If that's the case, there's very little here to call thick. Still, I'm not entirely sure if her fundament looked just like this, so that should be considered. I'm putting Whiplash at E tier. Tentacle. This is a tentacle. F tier. Now we're at the Marauder. This guy proves his mighty strength and speed in combat effortlessly. Despite his raging athleticism, however, he shows average thickness at best. Some muscles here and there, but his behind is okay at best. C tier. It's the Baron of Hell's turn to be ranked, and yes, this beast is absolutely stacked in his thickness. His muscles and size shine great, just like the Hell Knights below him. And don't you dare say that this isn't the most chiseled ass you've ever seen. This soldier is beefed in the back, but it's still not as impressive as the Mancubus. A solid A tier. Now, behold, the Buff Totem! Wait, this is a demon? I guess the game says so? Nevertheless, an obvious F tier. Getting to the Doom Hunter, this is yet another situation of a botched bod due to robotics. The closest look that I can find to this full body is this corpse, which has 4 arms, and still no bottom half. I feel really bad for this guy. I mean, he's got the thick muscles and the large proportions to support him, and who knows what the other half looks like. It could have 4 legs. That means 4 cheeks. Double the thickness. Because we'll never know what amazing potential this guy's duff can hold, I'm bestowing him with A tier. We're gonna start finishing up with the Makers. Now, while not technically demons, they are enemies in Doom Eternal. The first of these 2 are the Maker drones. A pillar with a head is what I'd call this thing. No real tail end here to see, folks. Still, a pillar is kind of thick. E tier. The Con Maker, without a doubt, has the advantage of having a thick chest, but much like her drones, she doesn't have the arse to score her high points on this list. D tier. Here comes the Tyrant, a cyber-demonic colossus that has the height and girth to give it an upper tier in thickness. It was thick in the original games, so it must be thick here, right? Huh. You know, this isn't bad, but it's not that good either. There is a distinct bubbliness and thick nature to this guy's buttocks, but it doesn't seem big enough to truly be top-tier thick-worthy. If only he had some more cushion for the pushin'. C tier. Finally, we talk about the big bad boss of the game's finale, the Icon of Sin. Now, I'd give this an A tier from the pure massive size of this monster, as well as his humongous muscles. However, this guy is coated in armor. We don't know how thick he is underneath. So, let's take a look. It's beautiful. I've never seen such a thick specimen. Move over, Mancubus. You have to make room for this S-tier tushy titan. While we finish, we might as well put the Doomslayer himself on this list, even though he's not a demon or maker. S-tier. The reason? Well, that does it for our tier list. What did you think of it? Leave a comment if you think some of these demons deserve to be in different rankings. Don't forget to tune in next week to my top 10 planks of wood countdown. Spoiler alert, this plank is ranked number 5 on the list, so be prepared for the others.